So I'm going to pick up, start recording again. All right. So what's happening now is what if I discovered all of a sudden I wanted to adjust the face of my mask? Well, notice you when you click on here, you'll get these shape handles, but if you go to pull that, Revit will scream at you and say, "Hey, I can't do that. Edit the family to modify it." So now you're seeing this is a mask family, right? Okay. Also notice that if I go to the masking and site tab and I say um, don't show that, right? It doesn't show those mass floors anymore. See, mass form and floors, right? You can kind of shut that function off and then you're not seeing it anymore. That's an easier way to go about doing that. And it slipped my mind. That's why I wanted to show you that. In addition to that, now if I go into my family, right, and I say go edit in place, let's say I wanted to come in here and I wanted to give this building um, uh, more of an interesting look here, right? So what if I want to come here to my 3D view and say, hey, this face, I'm going to grab it and I'm going to grab this X and I'm going to pull it out. I don't know how far. I'm just doing it dynamically. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? And you don't have to do this. You can do it or not do it. But here's what I want you to see. Saying the constraints aren't satisfied, I'll say remove the constraints, right? And then when I finish math, look what happens. Nothing happens, right? My floors aren't touching. But what if I click on this floor? Whoops, this floor. I can say update to face. And I can click on that floor and say update to face. And click on there and update to face. So you see how you can adjust that and then, make your building adjust. So I'm going to undo mine, but you're welcome to play with that function. I wanted you to see how you could update it. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to say cancel. Okay. All right. So next step, if you remember, we went in, all of us kind of, Kim asked the question about going into each level, right? So if I go to level 2 and I know that's my floor, maybe I want to offset it 6 inches so it isn't sticking out of the mass at some points, right? And I don't want to drag you through every one of yours, but the way you would do that, of course, is to click on the floor and say edit boundary. Then you would go to the offset function on the modify tab. I've got that 6 inch. I want to make sure that the copy function is off, and then I can just make sure I'm on the right side of it. See that? Boom, boom, just like that, right? And so then it's not going to stick out as much when we go to that 3D view. Matter of fact, it's probably not sticking out at all now, right? And so now, and again, you can do that through the other floors of your building. That's just kind of like a housekeeping item I won't bore you with right now. But the next step you want to take is perhaps to put some walls on here. And so what can we do here? Well, if we go to massing and site, notice that we can put a curtain system by face on here, right? So if I click on this, notice the only curtain system it has available is a 5x10 right now. But if I edit the type, right, I can say duplicate and I can say, give me a 5x5 in this instance, right? I want to start small right now. And with that grid layout, I can say make this 5. This other one's already 5. And remember these from our facade lecture, lecture 13, with the fixed distances and the fixed numbers. We want a fixed distance. We could use a maximum or minimum spacing, but let's stay with this fixed distance right now. And we can say adjust for mullion size and adjust for mullion size, right? Because right now we don't have any what? We don't have any mullions. So if I click on here, maybe I go in and I'll put a square mullion there. I'm going to say I want all my mullions for this instance to be 1 inch square, right? 1 inch square. And we'll change each and every one of those to 1 inch square. And we'll say okay, right? And then we'll touch this face and say create system. Now it's going to take a few seconds because it's thinking and generating. There's one, right? And then maybe we want it on maybe we want it on this side of the building because it's a little interesting now. So I'll click on that and I'll say create system. So now I'm creating the system. So on that side, those two sides, I want curtain walls for light, but maybe I just want a generic wall on the other side. So now I'll have to go in and say wall, And I'll have to say, in this instance, maybe I just want, for the argument's sake, let's just put some brick on there. Let's do masonry. We do masonry in class, so let's do it here. So again, that looks really funky, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting too. It's again a graphics card thing. So now I've got my 4 walls, and I've got my my 2 brick walls and my 2 curtain walls. Now, what else could I do if I clicked on this wall right now? Right, I could go in here, and if I want to just make it something generic, or I can make it a aluminum panel or something like that. I can go in here. I can make it concrete. I can make it anything. I'm just going to say make it um, a generic 6-inch. Okay. And then I can also say, take that and make that wall generic 6-inch, right? And so now I've got something a little more normal looking in that sense, but I still don't have a roof. So let's put a roof in there, right? With the roof, I can do a roof by face, and I can just put a generic 12-inch roof in there. It's probably what I'll do on that face, and click that. And you see where it says faces at top of roof? How about we do faces at the bottom of the roof? All right. Create roof. And now see how the roof is on top, as opposed to where if I went out before and said, do a roof, and I left it at the top, and I click this face, and I said create roof. You see how it goes down in this instance, and I see that pattern. So I can click that and say faces at bottom of roof. Okay. And now I'm not seeing that particular thing. Now let's see if I go to the wall, right? It doesn't really give me that option to change anything there like it does with the roof, but that's okay. You know, I mean, there's workarounds for this. A better graphics card being one of them, people. So I apologize to you for that. But maybe yours is going to work a little nicer, and you're going to see what you would see, especially in a situation like this. You know, if I go in here now, and I just want you to kind of see, if I just draw a regular brick wall, right, out here somewhere, you know, I'm going to see my, you know, if I go in here, I can see my brick pattern. But on this same side of the building, because of my graphics problem, and I'm just highlighting it, and I'm just going in here and creating this and saying make it brick, you know, I've got to zoom way in to see that. Okay. Just so you know what's happening there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. I'll let you guys kind of pick up and play with this for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I want to move on to our tensile structure. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and take a few questions and then let you work.